welcome to episode 4 of the Woolly Wonderland podcast. This is a video cast mostly about knitting and sewing. My name is Kristen, and I'm coming to you from New York City. And this is Dottie, who is my little doggy, who has decided to join us today. We'll see how long that lasts. Hi! Oh, hello. So, can I do the podcast? What do you think? Okay. So it's been a few weeks. I was away in, hi, I got a kiss. I was away in Maine for a wedding, and then I went to Montreal for a week, where I got some nice yarn and fabric that I'm excited to show you guys. So yeah, it's been a little while. Have a little bit of podcast business for you. I have the first giveaway ever of the podcast I'm going to be talking about later today in the episode. It's a pattern giveaway. So stay tuned for more information on that. And I have a couple of bonus videos that are, oh my goodness, I'm getting attacked with kisses. I have a couple of bonus videos that are going to be coming up. I ordered the Woodland care package from Alana Dacos at Never Not Knitting. She has a yarn store in California, and they put together little Woodland care packages, and I thought that was right up my alley, so I got one, and I'm going to do an unboxing video, so you can look forward to that. That should be exciting. That'll be a little bit outside the normal episodes. Awesome. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm actually going to try for the first time to just do this as a one-take vlog, and we'll see how that goes. So if I have to glance at my show notes a little bit, just excuse me on that one. Great, so I've gotten a lot of progress with my Featherweight cardigan, which is cool. You know, since I do usually have one or two whips at a time, I feel like I have to get a lot done just to be able to show you guys something cool. So yeah, so I'm working on this Featherweight cardigan, and again, this yarn is Dragonfly Fibers Pixie yarn in the Winter Woods colorway. You guys know I'm all about the woodland stuff. You can see a theme. I've got the Winter Woods, the Woodland care package. I'm all about it. So I finished the back of the sweater, and I'm almost done with the second sleeve. So while I was in Montreal, I did about half of the back and one sleeve, and then I've got a little bit more of this sleeve to go. I'm thinking about lengthening it a little bit, but I have to be honest, I'm getting a little sick of knitting with this yarn. So if you watched the previous episode, you know that I ripped out a whole sweater that I had made in this yarn, and because the fit wasn't really right, and I cast on an entirely new sweater and knit an entirely new sweater, and so I'm getting a little tired of it. It's really pretty, but it's just like, I hate sleeve knitting. No. Does anybody else hate sleeve knitting? I just feel like you're just knitting in circles forever and ever and ever and ever, and it's not as exciting. When you see the body knit up, it's like, ooh, look, it looks like a sweater. The sleeve is just like, oh god, I have to keep knitting this sleeve. Feels like a never-ending sock. So yeah, that's my rant about that. I also very rarely knit cardigans, and I'm happy about it because I have a lot of pullovers in my wardrobe, and I don't have a lot of cardigans. All the cardigans I have are sort of cheap ones from H&M that I get, you know, that are just sort of whatever. So it'll be nice to have a really nice cardigan for the fall and winter. I think I'm going to wear this to Rhinebeck. And yeah, and so the next knitting project I have that I think I'm going to have coming up is I really want to make a scarf for my boyfriend Charlie for Rhinebeck. And he sort of wants a scarf. We haven't picked a pattern yet, but he wants to do something with grays and purples. And he sort of wanted like a gradient purple look. So what I'm going to try to do is dye some yarn. I haven't dyed in a while, but I'm going to be doing that this week and seeing if it worked out. Sorry for the dog drinking water noise in the background. So I'll talk about this a little more in Life Update, but I got a job, yay! So this is sort of my last week I have a lot of preparation to do for the job, but I'll also be able to do some dyeing and sewing. So yeah, so I'm going to do some dyeing before that happens. And Dottie's back. Hi. So yeah, so this is the progress on my sweater. And this has been a really straightforward, lovely pattern, the Featherweight Cardigan. I'm sure that if you're in the knitting community, I'm sure you've seen hundreds of these, and it's just a lovely, simple pattern. So if you want a really basic, nice pattern for fall, go for it. And I do think that it really looks nice in yarns like this that are more variegated and have some color craziness going on. Please excuse all of the loose ends that are going on here. Yes, so this is my knitting. I've gotten some good progress on my sewing as well. So I finished my first skirt from the book Tilly and the Buttons, which is the Delphine Skirt. So by the way, I am definitively sewing my way through this book. I have plans for almost every pattern in the sewing book. So I think it's great because I'm going to learn a lot of skills along the way. And even with the 2 skirts that I'm working on now, I feel like I've really made leaps and bounds. So I feel really great about the new sewing world. It's so funny because I feel like I'm a person who doesn't really like clothes shopping. I don't really go clothes shopping that often. I also just find it expensive. But somehow I can, justify to myself buying fabric to make clothes, but it's harder for me to justify to myself buying clothes. I don't get it either, but it's the same thing with sweaters. I'm like, I don't want to buy this expensive sweater, but I'm like, I'll buy $100 of yarn to make a sweater. Fine. I guess because you get the enjoyment of spending hours and hours making the project, that it does pay off, and that seems more exciting to me. Also, I get to customize it. Okay, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just justifying my crazy thoughts. So Dottie ruined my plans for having a one-taker today by barking crazily at the door. So I had to pause, and now I'm back. I'm going to show you the sewing projects that I've been working on. So for my finished object for the week for sewing is the Delphine Skirt. And this fabric is cotton and steel, and this lovely blue background with white polka dots. And this is a purely weaved cotton. It's pretty basic. But yeah, I thought this skirt was really lovely to do. It was my first time doing a skirt lining and first time putting in a zipper at all. So it is not perfect, but I really like the way it turned out. I'm going to insert a picture of myself in the skirt here too so you can see it in action, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And I'll show you quickly, but don't be too judgmental of my work here, that I put the lining into the inside of the skirt and put the zipper in, which is supposed to be an invisible zipper, but since it's my first zipper, it's not the most invisible. But that's okay. It's okay, guys, right? But the lining was actually a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I followed a blog post that Tilly and the Buttons put up, which I found to be super helpful. So if you do need to put a skirt lining in, I'm going to put that link in the description so you can see it. But I thought that was really great. But it's a pretty simple, straightforward skirt. It has sort of like an A-line shape to it. I think that with my particular body type, Dottie, I look good in A-line shapes because I sort of am kind of pear-shaped. So I do like the A-line look. I've also just been really into like 50s and 60s style of clothing lately, which this book is very early 60s, late 50s. I talked a little bit about the TV show called The Midwife, and that show takes place 1957 to, I think this current season is 1961. And I just want to wear all their clothes. I want them all. So yeah, I want to sew all of the 60s things, which is great because sewing my way through this book is going to definitely work for that. So yeah, this is the Delphine Skirt. The other thing that I've been sewing is I've been sewing along with the Hollyburn Sew Along, which is hosted by Katie of the Inside Number 23 podcast. So this is in progress right now. But yeah, I've been keeping up with all the videos pretty well. So here it is, the Hollyburn skirt, and she's back. I did a black and white pattern because I thought it would be really nice to go with some colored shirts and fit into my whole capsule collection thing. So basically, we have the pockets in already. Where are the pockets? Yeah, so here's a pocket. So we've got the pockets in, got the skirt sewn, the waistband in, and I put the zipper in last night, and I think I did a better job with this zipper than I did on the Delphine skirt, but hey, I'm learning. It's all good. So I think this is going to be really lovely. So the only thing that there's left to do is the waistband is going to be about half the size. I have to hem the skirt. And then there's going to be these two little tabs along the sides with blue buttons. And I think that will fit in really nicely with my teal and blue capsule collection. Both of these skirts will. So it's been really exciting to be able to add new and exciting things to the wardrobe. Yay! Okay, so that is the sewing progress. And one more thought about sewing. I need to give myself a little bit of a demerit because I have not been the best sewing machine owner. So I hadn't sewed in a really long time, and I had my sewing machine in storage, and I took it out of storage and sort of started sewing with it without really doing the maintenance and upkeep that you really should do with the sewing machine. So the other day, my reverse button stopped working, and I had to open up my machine and play around with levers and clean things out, and I just realized that I really need to take better care of my machine. I need to get it serviced and oil it, so demerit for Kristen. I'm going to take better care of my sewing machine, and hopefully moving forward won't have any more problems, but I was able to sort of mess around with it, so it's working now, but I'm gonna definitely do like a more thorough cleaning and oil job on the machine very soon. So yeah, okay, cool. So I'm going to move on to talking about the things that I bought when I was in Montreal. Yay! So at this point, I want to give a huge shout out to Megan, who is Huckabee on Ravelry, because she was able to direct me to some great stores in Montreal. I ended up going to Effloché, hopefully I said that right, which is a fabric store in Montreal. And when I talked to the man who was working there, he said that, oh yeah, like so many American tourists come here for printed cottons. And so yeah, it's sort of the place to go. And it was a beautiful store. It was huge. I think that maybe every yarn and fabric store outside of New York City is huge to me because yarn and fabric stores are so small here. But I thought it was really big, and there was a really great selection at that store. So first I'll show you the fabric that I got. I got this lovely greeny teal fabric. Oops. Should probably flatten it out a little bit. And it has these navy and white polka dots. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm making a dress out of this, and I may make the Megan dress from Tilly and the Buttons, and I will go ahead and insert a picture of that here so you can see. So yeah, so I got this. And then the other fabric I got, it's a little wrinkly. I put it in the washing machine and haven't been able to get around to ironing it yet. So, but whatever. And then I got this really cute fabric. It's bicycles. How adorable is this? So I'm going to make a skirt with this. I haven't decided what pattern yet, but yeah, I'm going to make a skirt. I'm excited about my small but slowly growing fabric collection, and hoping that it will just keep increasing. Yay! And then the yarn that I got was from La Maison Tricotée, also recommended to me by Megan. Thanks so much, Megan. And so I got these two sock yarns from Riverside Studio, and they are made in Quebec. So yeah, when I go traveling, it's really important to me to get yarn that I couldn't get elsewhere or that is local to the place. And so I really wanted to get yarn that was Canadian, it just doesn't make sense to me to go into another country and to get, Brooklyn tweed or something that would be so easy for me to get in New York. So anyway, I got this Riverside Studio, and this is called a Super Sock, which is superwash merino nylon, And this colorway is called Rocky Shore. And I think this is really nice because I love browns. And so it was really cool. I don't think I've seen a colorway like this. It sort of has this berry, this purple, dark blue, and then also brown and light blue. So I think this is going to be a really lovely pair of socks. And then I got another skein in the same super sock, and this is called Slate. And I really want to make some socks for Charlie in this. I think that his favorite color is gray, which I'm always like, why is your favorite color gray? That's the most boring, but he loves gray. So this has some grays, some browns, and some blues in it, and so I think that will be really lovely socks. So yeah, that is my Montreal fabric and yarn haul. So remember how I said I was going to do one take for this video? Well, that's not really working out, so oh well. So I want to talk about my first giveaway, and I am going to be giving away a pattern, any pattern on Ravelry up to $6. And so I'll open a thread in the Woolly Wonderland podcast group, and I will pick a random winner 2 weeks from now. But let's talk about what the contest actually is. So this week's theme is all about yarn souvenirs. And like I was talking about with the Montreal haul, I love to buy yarn and fabric as souvenirs because I feel like it's a way to have a souvenir that's going to be practical to you, rather than just buying some chintzy thing from a gift shop that you'll throw on a shelf and it's just some random tchotchke in your house. So yeah, I love to buy yarn, souvenirs, and fabric, and I feel like it always takes you right back to the trip that you went on. So I wanted to show you a shawl that I knit from yarn that I bought in London. And this yarn I knit this about 5 years ago, and I bought this at the store I Knit London. And this is really special to me because at the time I was going on a trip with my friends. It was the year after I graduated college, and we went to London and Oxford, and we also backpacked all around Ireland. And so it was just like a really fun, exciting sort of like last summer before you start working kind of a trip. And so, yeah, and also one thing I remember was when I was buying this yarn at I Knit London, they also sell beer as well as yarn, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I bought this yarn and a beer. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So I don't remember what this yarn or pattern is called, but I'll post it below for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, so this is just a lovely thing. So yeah, for the contest, I would love if you posted either a finished object, yarn, or fabric that you got while you were traveling. And if you haven't gotten any souvenir yarn, then just post yarn, fabric, or a finished object that you associate with a memory or a specific period of time. I would love to see all of your submissions. I can't wait to see all of your submissions. So yeah, post in the blah, blah, blah. What is the word I'm looking for? I will create a post in the forum, and you guys can post there, and we will figure it out from there. Awesome. So at this point, all of the crafty stuff is done, so I'm going to talk a little bit about life. So I recently got a job, which is super exciting. So those of you who've been watching the vlogs know that I went to a coding training program from February to June of this year. And yeah, I was able to get a web development job at a big theater company here in the city, which is awesome because coding and theater are my two big passions. And so it's awesome that I'm going to be able to combine those two things and make a career out of it. So yeah, things are pretty great lately, actually. I'm feeling really good about the fall. I think it's going to be just a nice, new, fresh start. I always love the fall. I always love September. It's sort of, because of the school year schedule, it always feels more like the new year to me in the fall than it ever did in January. And so, yeah, I think it'll be great. Also, Rhinebeck's coming up, and so that's sort of the next like road trip that's on my list of things to do. Charlie always likes to eat at the Culinary Institute, so it's fun for him too. And so, yeah, it's always like a little weekend getaway for us. And I think I'm going to make a separate video all about Rhinebeck preparation because the vendor list came up, and so I'm gonna just start my plan of attack. It should be super fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go into my coding school today, and there's a bell you can ring when you get a job, so I'm gonna go do that and work on some coding stuff. And yeah, so that should be good. The other thing that I wanted to finally talk about was my trip to Montreal. And so before we went to Montreal, we went to Maine for a wedding, which was really beautiful and picturesque in Maine. It was in I think it's northern Maine, but we talked to a local and they're like, this isn't North Maine, this is West Maine. I'm like, I don't know, anything north of Portland is northern Maine to me, but I guess not. But it was a city where there's like a population of 30, so it was like nobody was there. It was pretty much just the wedding party, which was pretty cool. And there was a lot of adventure stuff to do. So one day we went kayaking, and then the day after the wedding we went rafting because the groom used to lead rafting tours around there. And so we were sort of in the groom's boat while he was yelling commands at us, which was actually really fun. It was a sort of like 5-hour expedition, and then we drove to Montreal after that, so by the end of the day we were exhausted. In Montreal we did a lot of great things. We went to the botanical gardens, which were really beautiful. We went to the art history museum, and so that was really fun. We did a lot of shopping, walking around old Montreal, which is really beautiful, and did a lot of good eating, and so that was really great. So yeah, at this point I'm going to insert some pictures and videos from the trip. I hope that you guys have a great next couple of weeks, and then 2 weeks from now we will go ahead and announce the winner of the pattern giveaway. So have a fantastic couple of weeks, get some good knitting and sewing in, and show me all of your souvenir pictures. Bye guys!